There is this person who is stressed, but if they drink, they forget about their problem for like 2-3 hours. Then after that, the stress comes back. Na hiyo ndio unapata. Sasa the sequence inaendelea until to the time I may become an addict.
Rigiji, fight for it. There are people who are nobody out there, but we are ready to fight for it because we won't lose. We will lose a generation. Kikuyu community will lose a generation.
The recent and most talked topic in our country right now is alcoholism. Sentiments from the Deputy President and the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kindiki, all of them focus on alcohol. We have new rules and regulations that have been put in place, and also the license of the industry have also been put on hold for the next 21 days as they try to put the new regulations in place. Together with me today, we are going to have a beautiful conversation with Veronica. Hi Veronica, how are you?
Hi Jedida.
Umekuaje?
Nimekuwa poa.
Watoto na pombe ama?
Ai, watoto tuache pombe. Tuache pombe.
Tumesema pombe isimamishwe.
Pombe ipunguzwe. Unajua kusimamisha is one thing na kuachisha. Kuregulate is one thing. Because pombe was still there even wakati wa Yesu. But watching tupunguze tu, then we know how we should work it out.
Alafu the main thing yenye imefanya Deputy President wetu aingilie hizi mambo na pombe ni zile pombe za huko ushago. Mostly zimekuwa zina kill watu, it's poisonous. Alafu sasa I was having this conversation with friends of mine, I think on Tuesday, wakisema wao wazazi wao wamewasomesha through changa. Wamekuwa wanapika changa. Wakauza, wakasoma hadi penye wako right now. So to them, changa was a source of income. So right now, sasa venye the Deputy President, alafu we've also seen the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kindiki, ameingilia, we have new rules and regulations. So what do you think this is going to do to the industry?
Oh, thank you so much, our viewers. Alcohol is one thing and addiction is another thing. Me, what I believe, what the government is trying to do is, when these people are drinking alcohol, are they able to work? Are they economically supporting the government? No. What government is trying to stop is the illicit brew. And it is not the kachanga wazazi walisomesha watu inayo. It is the new generic ya alcohol. Kuna utu tupombe tu tukona kamasai kamesimama kamoja. What do you think? Hiyo ni pombe legit. But I think watu wameacha kukua na utu. There is the human nature, as in like when you drink, wewe ukikuwa kama wewe ni manufacturer ama una process hiyo pombe, una expect mtoto mwenye atakunywa hiyo pombe iko na madhara gani? You see, most of the time watu waja understand shida hata si mkunywi, because mkunywi ako na issues zake za life, si ndio? Ako na stress, probably hiyo kukosa job, but sasa venye wewe umeanza kumanufacture hivyo. Now that is why the Deputy President and the Interior Cabinet Secretary are trying to curb on the manufacturing and the drinking. Because if we are able to close the manufacturers, or we are able to regulate the manufacturer, we are able to regulate even the drinking. So whatever the government is doing, the direction is good. To manufacturers, I know it has watasikia uchungu, tu wale watu wanauza bado itasikia uchungu, but why should my business affect your well-being as a person? Na naona unapata watu wengi wanasomesha hii illicit. Na naona ile ya kitambo ushago, watu walikuwa nakunywa after washatoka kwa shamba. Watu hakukua na hizo ages, you can remember those ages. Hata ungepatana, rarely would you see a drunkard person. Wewe ulikuwa unajua kwa fulani kuna pikwa changa, but you never saw drunk person. Saa hii tembea tu hapa, utafika Rosters kabla hujaona mtu mlevi chakali.
Alafu tunaona sana when we come to counties, Kiambu is ranked the first one. Watu asubuhi tu unapata mtu amelala kwa mtaro.
Hiyo ni ukweli. Hiyo nayo ni ukweli. Because watu, one, I don't want to say they are lazy. But kukosa job, there's always work to do. It's only that our young people think when they drink, kulikuwa na ile kasuba. I was telling we were having girls out juzi. Tunaambiana Jedida venye nilimaliza shule ni huko kitambo, hiyo miaka wazazi walikuwa nakwambia Jedida kama hujaandikwa na serikali huko kazi, Jedida kama hujaenda campus hautapata kazi. If you don't get a white collar job you are not employed. Ile wakati wazazi walikuwa najua kama ufanyi accounts, kama ufanyi procurement, kama Jedida ufanyi teaching, kama ufanyi nursing, kama ufanyi, yani there was that line ile wazazi kama hujafanya hizo course. Mzazi ukimwambia unataka kukua DJ anashangaa, unataka kukua chef like how? So our watoto wengi walipata, wengi that generation wamegrow wakijua mimi nilianguka form 4. Sasa ulipata C minus, akukua C minus haiko inaenda mahali ama D plus haiko inaenda mahali. So huo mtu alikuwa terminated progression yake ya life na kukua alianguka form 4, which makes the most of them they end up like sina kazi, tushamba tu Kiambu ni tudogo. So huo mtu hana space ya kulima. So huo mtu hana place kitu ina engage. Unajua waking up and having something which is engaging your system inakufanya usiindulge so much in alcohol. And now tukianza kuondoa, alafu unaona sasa hii cheap liquor it is locally available. Ukikuwa na 20 bob kwanza naonanga wananunua kitu kanatoshana hivi kanakatwa mara mbili. So if that something inatoka 150, huo mtu akiwa na 70 bob ama 75 ama 80 bob ako na hiyo kitu. So mimi Jedida nikikuwa na mbao na wewe ukuwe na mbao na mwingine akuwe na mbao, we are able to raise ya hiyo kanuni. So unaona, na ndio una tend kupata hao watu wengi wana nyumbani kuna kitu inapotea, labda kasufuria, labda mwiko ilipotea, jembe imepotea because so you unapata what the deputy president want exactly to do is to curb the availability of this alcohol. And if it is available, is it the right alcohol? So because hatuwezi sema tutamaliza pombe, economically alcohol kuna ile pesa ina raise too.
So hata nilitaka kuuliza that as our next question. Do you think the new rules and regulations are going to have a damage on our economy? Juu sasa unaona previously we've been seeing we have bars and clubs working for 24 hours, mostly when it's a weekend. When on a Friday, Saturday, unapata Sunday ndio zinafunga hapo around 10. So do you think sasa club zote saizi kianza kufungwa 10:30, do you think it's going to have an impact on our economy?
One, it will have an impact, that is one. But Jedida, when we want to like, what do I want to say? I'm looking for the correct word. But when you want to stop something, ama unataka kuzuia kitu, there's something, one, like when you want to lose weight, there's some levels where you unajinyima ndio uweze kugain on the other side, ndio? So it's a 50-50 deal. Whatever the government is doing is like, wacha tuone tukipunguza availability ya hii kitu, watu wataanza, unajua hatuwezi iondoa kwa market. So the moment inaanza kupunguza the availability, kipunguza Jedida, kesho ukikosa kupata hiyo kitu, if utaanza mwili yako itaanza kujua naweza kaa 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. So eventually system yako itaanza kujua si lazima, I cannot. But when we withdraw it kabisa, tutafungua other avenues, because hiyo pombe itawekwa mpaka kwa mifuko ya watu atina kuuzia ni kama na. But when there is a regulation, in everything needs regulation. Because hata maisha yako, there is a way you have regulated your life. I cannot go this far, I can just go this far. Beyond this, I'm violating something, sindio? So that is what the government is saying. And Deputy President saying that he's ready to lose his political seat for that.
I heard him say that.
To me, I know Gachagua, Rigiji, he will fight it. Because, unajua, amejitoa, amesema, if that is what it will cost my life, I would rather do it. Kubaki kuna mtu alisema, mimi nilifanya. Even generation later watajua there was a man alisema, and this is how it had happened. Because like now I'm from Kiambu and I have brother. I'll lose him, he has no generation. Ebu niambie, from my son to him hakuna mtu, hakuna a man in the family mwenye anaweza stand up as a man to that family. Huyo mtu, he was a chef. And why I talk about my brother is like, Jedida, I don't want to talk about somebody who I don't know. I have seen my brother. He has been a chef and he had a very good job and he lost it because of alcohol. Every time I tell him, unajua unaweza, mimi sikwambii uache. Me by the Jedida, I don't advocate waache, but no, when is the right time to drink it. Because nikimwambia anaacha afanyange nini, you know, you have to get an immediate solution. Si ndio? Uache ni ufanyange hivi. So mimi nataka upunguze, then you are able to do this if you concentrate on this. So at one point or another, the regulation will affect our economy. At the other hand, there are people who are not for it, but eventually kama tuli survive to regulation, kama ni ameshuki rules, watu wabebangu sahi wamesukumana kwa matatu. Human nature, change is always very hard. So when people are being told to change to kaange hivi, people feel like hey, tunafinyiliwa. But when the change comes and start getting effective, what when I realize, oh, we should have done this earlier than now. Sindio? But I believe Deputy President ako tuna goodwill.
And echoing on our Deputy President words, akisema he wants to lead a country, a sober country,
yes.
A country where we have families, not broken families, a country where we have a generation, we are seeing a generation that will lead us in future. So I also feel that for him coming out to say these words, to me, they're very much touching. And also to an extent that he's ready to lose his seat just because he wants to fight alcoholism, it's another thing. Then there is this question again that comes to my mind. Do you think the government, before now the Deputy President takes up this case, do you think that the government and is it the Interior Cabinet Secretaries, or let me just say generally the government has failed us? Because also in another clip, I had the same Deputy President and the Interior Cabinet Secretary saying that this alcohol right now, they come from outside the country. Kuna ile yenye natoka Uganda, yenye ilikatazwa kabisa, hata ikionekana Kenya, you are arrested for that. Kuna yenye pia inatoka Sudan, kuna yenye inatoka Tanzania. So do you think that our wenye wana protect our borders have failed us in one way?
One, mimi usema, in my personal opinion, the government has failed us, as not really the government, but people who are in charge, our chiefs, the administration. Unajua the administration ndio the government, si ndio? The police officers, because unaona chief ama police they go taking bribes. Kwa hizo changade ama kwa hizo to wines and spirit, wanachukua hiyo 50 bob, wanakupatia nguvu as a seller kuendeleza. So the government, atuwezi sema uko kwa government hiyo ya Rigiji, ndio Rigiji afika kuchukua hatua like I want to go back to the ground. Ni kwa sababu wale watu wako kwa ground wenye wanafaa kufight alcoholism. Ama the alcohol, the illicit. It's not the alcohol we are fighting, the illicit brew. That illicit brew ndio in the government. That is where the government, the administration, the chiefs, the police officers who are there. Like today in the morning we are talking about, I think I shared something with my close person. Nikamwambia, what do you think? Akaniambia, me I support how Kindiki said, to fight alcoholism tuna need to transfer at least 40,000 officers countrywide, because Jedida askari tuseme OCS amekaa kwa hii kijiji for like 5 years, 10 years. Mtu alikuja hapa, labda hako ameoa, ashaoa hapa, ashajua mama fulani, mama Vero ndiye anapikanga hii pombe. So tumeanza kukua, but every 3 years hauwezi kuwa ukikaa mahali. Juzi ndio tulikuwa tunasema, if you stay somewhere for 5 years you overstay the place. So mtu overstay anaanza kukua, ameanza kubebwa na the village. If it is that, the way, I think the way the chiefs, initially the government, when they were employing the chiefs, they wanted somebody who comes from the same village, will understand the village, the people can get touch with. But at this point, that chief is the one who is allowing, because amezeeka, si ndio? So anajua mzee fulani ndiye anapikanga Muratina. Serikali kuu ikisema, the national government says we don't want this Muratina, although Muratina has now been legalized, but if we don't want these cheap liquors, you know they will pick a Muratina, but selling Muratina probably under the tables they just Ilict Brew for those people who cannot afford Muratina, si ndio? But sasa unapata the chief knows baba fulani cooks Muratina, but eventually mtu fulani knows baba fulani akiuza Muratina, but I can sneak in kakitu kadogo, then I will start drinking from there. So eventually it is not the national, it is not the bigger government, it is not the government how we want to pursue the government. We want to say the administration, the chain from the chief, if they don't fight it from the village. I remember when I moved to a different place where I'm currently staying. There's somebody who had two rental houses, and the lady akarentisha somebody, and that guy came akaeka hiyo to wines and spirit nini, alafu nyuma akazingira vizuri na makuti. Then they started. Then my husband told me, unajua watu wana hapa kwa mama fulani kunauzwa pombe. Nikamwambia hatauzia pombe hapo. I'm just nobody. Nikamwambia. Then I called. I went home to home. I think by then we were like 10 homesteads. Nikauliza, do you want ikabaka endelee hapa? Hapana, unajua sasa hatuwezi. Nikamwambia hapana, sisi tukiamua, by then it was Uhuru's administration. Tukiamua now that government is fighting the alcohol. Tukiamua kama sisi, the people who are near this place, we are able to, it will be closed eventually. Do you know, a Sunday afternoon, nilienda tukaambia huyo mzee, sasa hapa hautaweka hii pombe. We are requesting you, just look for another place, uende uweke pombe. Your business is your business, but for us as a community, we don't feel like we want this something here. Alipigia huyo mama. Huyo mama aliniambia tu vizuri kwa simu, mimi sitajenga nyumba za renta, nyinyi mdetermine nitarentisha nani. Tukamwambia kama hizi nyumba, hata kama ni maziwa, haitauziwa hapa. We will now determine, because wewe umejenga hizi nyumba hapa, but you don't live here, so you don't know. We have small kids, we have our house girls at home, we have our homes. The moment you bring these people, kuna mtu hakuji kukunywa, anakuja kusurvey, hii fulani boma watu wanatokanga saa ngapi, and that is when you find kunaanza kukua na wizi. So eventually, by then I was in an office where I could call somebody. I called, nikamwambia niko mahali fulani na huyo. By then that is when Uhuru ile pombe ilimwagwa Kiambu. Unakumbukanga pombe ilimwagwa Kiambu? That was the hype of that situation. Huyo tu aliniambia usijali, nimempatia mpaka saa ngapi. Nikamwambia, tukapiga simu nikamwambia umesikia nimempea, tumemwambia kutoka saa 8 it was after church. By 7 akuwa amejua kwenye hii pombe. Huyo mzee alisema aje, mtajua ninajua serikali. So what serikali are we talking about? We are not talking about Uhuru. We are never talking about Waitito. We were never talking even by the late Wakapi as Juja MP. We were talking about the chief, the police officers who are within our community. So when mtu akikwambia najua serikali, we are not able to fight alcohol. So as an administration, I would urge Rigiji, fight for it. There are people who are nobody out there, but we are ready to fight for it, because we won't lose. We will lose a generation. Kikuyu community will lose a generation because of alcoholism.
Okay, so us being psychologists, us being therapists, us being counselors, how do we come in this? How do we help the government to fight alcoholism? Because we do understand that most people turn to become addicts because of their mental health issues. You get somebody is depressed, somebody is stressed, somebody has childhood traumas, somebody has anxiety, and the only thing that can help beat the anxiety is when they drink. What is it? A tot. When they take a tot in the morning, they're okay. They won't be anxious the whole day. There is this person who is stressed, but if they drink, they forget about their problem for like 2-3 hours. Then after that, the stress comes back. Na hiyo ndio unapata. Sasa the sequence inaendelea until to the time I may become an addict. So us as psychologists, as counselors and therapists, how do we come in this?
We need as a society that we have grown up knowing that when we talk about your problem, unajianika. You know that is the perception we have grown up with. And now there is this generation, like Jedida, I'm not able to tell you. As therapists, we need to create an awareness. Like mimi kama sahi mi usema, if I get somebody who is, I get a young man drinking, namuuliza ni shida gani why are you drinking? Ati unajua hakuna kitu kingine ya kufanya. Kitu gani? Okay, kitu kingine ya kufanya. What is this? Drinking is a thing. So you don't have any other thing apart from drinking.
And if they don't have other thing aside from drinking, where do they get the money to buy the drinks?
kwanza wako na hiyo tendency, mimi ni beshte yangu, then what does that friend of yours do to allow you to be able to sponsor your lifestyle? So unapata one thing where I say talk to young men at any given stage. Mimi hata mlevi namuulizanga kwa nini unakunywa, even the bigger. Okay, like now ulevi imeingiliwa sana by men. Sisi tukigrow, sijui kama kwenyu ilikuwa hivyo, there was the growing up like men should not cry, mwanaume ni kujikaza, the societal perception of men for a man. That one has driven them so much into that. And now if you find mwanaume akienda kwa therapist, and there's a one thing I wanted to tag you sometimes back, like this guy who is very controversial. I don't want to say his name because taki mimi na yeye tuanza drama again. So he said ati mwanaume kujiongelelea, mwanaume ukiambia kuenda ati hiyo ni ufala. Then I was like, ufala ni nini? To him ufala ni nini? He has made it, and us as his fellow men, us as fellow human, ni sisi tumemfanya afike mahali amefika, because if we never followed him his social media. Now as an advocate, I ambia boy child, talk about your issues. Let's understand what exactly do you want. Because as therapist, before, kama sahi, kuna kijana walking through his marijuana. And I met that guy boy, I think he was 19 by then. Nikampata akiasha kabangi. Amesimama na baiskeli. Then I asked him, hey, umeamua kuichoma mapema? You see, I never said like don't do it, but I said umeamua kuichoma mapema. Because it was early in the morning. Akaniambia hii kitu nikichoma ndio naanza kufanya job. Nikamuuliza, kwa hivyo sisi wote tuanze kuchoma. So I wanted to be in his shoe for me to understand what he's going through. Then he told me a lot of stories. Then we've been working about it. Amua kufanya kitu mimi. So as therapists, I think we need to create an awareness, like we voice it out. Kabisa iongee, when and where you don't say it, when and where we don't know. But we need to voice it. Kabisa, we create an awareness. Let's talk about it. And I pray for our men, young men, please kindly, tuongelelei, tuambieni tu, sindio, tuongee tu. And parents, stop bashing your kids that they're drinking. Understand why your child is getting involved in so much. Let us know your friends. Let the parent know your friends. How you get associated. Where do you go with your friends? How do you do? What do you do? Don't ile kukomesha mtoto. Sitaki kukuona na fulani. You're not, because I remember my mom used to tell me sitaki kukuona na mtu fulani, but she never, up to now, she never told me why she didn't want me to. But because by then watoto tulikuwa tunaogopanga tu sheria ya mzazi. But I can understand now ni nini alikuwa naona kwa huyo mtoto, ama what was happening kwao yenye yeye madhe alikuwa ananizuia. But angeniambia probably a friend who I lost because of madhe aliniambia niachane naye, probably tungekuwa tumewalk na yeye hivi.
And also, do you think sasa right now, because unajua kuna wale wenye wako addicted, but sasa with these new rules and regulations, itabidi watu wameanza kureduce on how they take alcohol. Do you think sasa this is the right time of us sasa kuamka as counselors, we come up with counseling centers, tukue na rehabilitation centers? Juu sasa rehabilitation centers yes ziko, but ziko expensive. So kupata mtu kwenda kwa hiyo rehab, akifikiria twice, anasema wacha tu nibaki huku nyuma nikikunywa pole nitaacha siku moja. So do you think now it's the right time for us to come up with counseling centers, rehabilitation centers, where we encourage people, especially the boy child, the men, to walk into those counseling centers to get help? Ndio wasifikiria sasa the only solution to run to ni pombe.
It is high time. We should have done, we should have done it earlier. But I believe God's time is always the best, because it has come up, the government is coming up nicely. Like I've said earlier, let's start from where we are. Patana na huyo mtu mmoja tu. Start with that person. Jua what he's doing. Because if Jadida we say we will start an awareness, tunaanza hiyo awareness wapi? It starts from home. Everything starts from home. Like if you have a brother, embrace them. Let them, like me wambia kama juzi, I told my brother, Mimi sitakukosea 200, but ni explainie ni ya kufanya nini, because naona hujanyolewa. Nimekuja Jedida, nimekwambia ni brother yangu, unashangaa hawa watu wawili they are related. Let me understand what do you want? Sina hiyo pesa ya kufanya hiyo shughuli unayotaka, si ndio? But where can we start? Kama ni neighbor, kama ni churches, there are so many parents who have those children to create, tuache tu kuhubiria watu kabisa ati kanisa ndio inataka kutake over kama ni alcoholism nini. Hapana, let's create like a team building. We create a time like tununue balls, tuko na lunch, ni kama venye chokora upikiwa town, mtu anaamua leo ndaenda kupikia chokora, watatoka Githurai. That is the point. Sema tu leo tuko na games za vijana, mtu wote tu anasikia kuna lunch, tutapika lunch mahali fulani. Let's talk about what is happening with our youth. Ni nini inafanya tukunu, because ni nini na. So at that point, when we create that awareness, sensitization in churches, because most of the churches is where we can be able to congregate so many people at the same time. Kama ni hizo chief barazas, let's go and talk. Kama ni MP, kama ni mazishi, just go, tuende tuseme me I'm doing this and this and this is what. Watch at church, hata kama hawana nafasi ya therapist, si ndio? Wacha watupatie, hata kama ni 5 minutes, Jedida 5 minutes of our time, utasema kitu yenye mtu ataenda akifikiria. Because the men we are having wako na stress zao, they are under depression because of the economy how it is, so they are not able to raise a younger generation. So what do we do from that point?
So according to you, awareness starts from home, our churches, schools, and also the community at large, right? So thank you so much for coming to this show, and it's not the first time, it's not going to be the last time. And it has been a good discussion, if I might say. You have learned a lot at Hanamimi. So to our viewers who is watching us from home or where you are watching us from, our advice is, if you get any mental health issues, kindly look for help. Don't resolve into taking alcohol, because at the end of the day, instead of now curing the issue that you have, or instead of getting the solution to the issue that you have, you end up getting into another mess, which is addiction. Alafu pia our government, and also a good work to the government, to our Deputy President Mr. Rigiji, hapa pia nani Kindiki. That's a good step that you're taking, and I hope that with the steps and the rules and regulations that you've put in place, we are going to fight alcoholism, and at some point tutafika kwa hiyo point here. We are not going to say zero, because there is this one last question I want to ask before we go. Do you think hizi vitu zinakuja tu for some months, alafu after the 3 months ama 4 months we are going back to the normal self, ama to the normal ways of nini working, ama what do you think?
One thing I believe, hiyo kitu hata tulikuwa tumeisema off the script. You see, shida ya Kenya ni tuna compromise.
Rules are there to be broken.
They are broken. Tuna compromise a lot. But Mr. Truthman, Rigiji, he will fight it. You see,
you are sure he will fight
he will fight it, because you see, when Kindiki said, I think it was yesterday or my day before yesterday. It was yesterday. Yeah. When he said he will transfer 45,000 police officers from all over the country, means like if you've said that place, wewe ndio ulikuwa unakuja kuchukua hiyo kitu. Mgeni akikuja kama ni OCS, tupewe mtu akunywi kama Kiambu, si ndio? Na anaona shida kubwa Kiambu ni pombe, he will be able to fight it. Alafu unajua the moment unaenda mahali mgeni, kabla uelewe the system kuna utaenforce hiyo kasheria tu. So when the moment kutakuwa hivyo, I believe, sasa mimi na believe change kabisa aki.
Hadi ukatufanyia sign language. Thank you so much. This has been the Secrets of the Mind show, and here on the Secrets of the Mind we advocate for mental health, well-being, and also have been advising you to check on yourself, to check on your friends and your neighbors and your relatives, because huku nje si kurahisi venye unafikiria. And also here at the Secrets of the Mind show we advocate inclusion, and together with us today we have our sign language interpreter. She goes by the name Irene Chebiwot. So thank you so much. Let's catch each other on the next show. Bye.